Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon. All right. So I just recently put out a video talking about how I recently, over the last couple of months, gotten 9 new bottles of rye, and putting it together with the 10 bottles I already have. I wanted to do a big series of blinds to figure out which are my best bottles of rye. So I do have quite a few good ones. In that last video, I talked about how I was breaking them up into groups of 6, and that they were kind of in different categories. So this one here is my category for the regular sort of bottles. Granted, I do have one of them here as a single barrel. I got a lot of single barrels, so somebody had to go. So this one here was the least expensive of the single barrels. This is Rossville Union. It is a single barrel pick. It's very tasty. It's only $40 though. And so I thought I would move that one into this category. Other bottles I got here, Michter's Rye. Now granted, it also says that it's a single barrel, but this is not a special bottle. This is just one of their regular bottles on their standard lineup. This is $37. Find it anywhere. So even though it says single barrel, it's like nothing special. But that being said, I think it's really tasty. I really enjoy this bottle. All right, other bottles here in our lineup, we've got Sagamore 9-year. This is about an $80 bottle, and it is. I did a video just recently comparing this bottle to this one here, Heaven's Door 10-year, and this one happens to be about a $98 bottle. Although I happen to get this one on severe discount. I got it for $48. It was a great deal. A little bit extra about these two is that this one, Heaven's Door 10-year, is 100% MGP's 95.5 rye, whereas the Sagamore 9 is also 100% MGP, but it is partially their 95.5 rye, and it's also partially another rye mash bill from MGP that are blended together. Elsewhere here in this lineup, we got Redwood Empire's Rocket Top. This is about an $80 bottle. And this one, interesting thing about this bottle is that it is actually a 4-grain. It has 5% wheat and 2% corn. Give it a little different flavor. And then we have Willet, their Family Estate 4-year rye. And this one I've seen for as much as $65, but I actually picked this up for $50, which I thought was a good deal. In comparing these in terms of proof, which is going to make a big difference here, doing a blind, right? So the Michter's is 85 proof. Rossville Union's 100. The Sagamore here is going to be our strongest proof in this lineup at about 112. Heaven's Door is 100 proof. The Rocket Top is 100 proof. And the Willet is 110. So sometimes that level of proof kind of sways a decision and it being stronger. So we'll see how that goes. Other comments about this? My predictions? Okay. I know that this is only a $40 bottle. It's next to the cheapest one, right? This one's about $37. So this is $40, but this one's fantastic. I've had this one win blinds against foolproof single barrel stuff. This is a really good bottle. I expect the Rossville Union to do well. Another little interesting thing about these two here, I recently did a video where I said that I liked the Heaven's Door 10-year better than the Sagamore 9-year, but that wasn't a blind, so we'll see how that plays out. The Willet here is also really tasty. It's very minty. I've been enjoying that. So I don't know. We got quite a few interesting pours here. I've labeled these bottles 1 through 6, and I've got the glasses already here. They all have stickers on the bottom with the numbers corresponding to these bottles, but they're all mixed up. I don't know what is in which glass. I'm going to move my bottles to the side. And bring the glasses out. All right. I'll refer to these glasses as A to F. And let's get started. Smells really good. Citrusy, actually. Maybe a touch of something sweet, maybe a caramel. And I get some cloves, kind of a standard rye note there. And maybe a touch of mint. Anyways, A was really nice. B. B is muted compared to A. A was stronger. This one's more fruit forward, which is a little strange for a rye. But I also get the cloves. Maybe a little honeysuckle. Yeah, that's actually starting to come through more. The cloves and the honeysuckle. Might be a little nutmeg or something in the background. All right. Glass C. Oh, this one's lovely. Citrus with the cloves and lemongrass and maybe a touch of like a cinnamon note, almost a bready note. Kind of reminds me of MGP, actually. Let's move on to glass D. Now this is different. A little more subtle. A little bit darker. Still has the cloves. Still has maybe a little lemongrass. But it's a little darker take on it. I can almost say there's some pear in it too. Maybe some baking spices in the background. All right. Glass E. Oh, wow. Now this might be the strongest nose of the group. This is lovely. Lighter. Has some vanilla. Honeysuckle. Cloves. That one's really nice. And glass F. Also a fairly strong nose. Not quite as strong as E. I would say E had the strongest nose of them all. This one's almost a little bit minty, I think, maybe. Again, with more kind of that honeysuckle note. And the cloves. Could also maybe call that a little bit of vanilla as well. I don't know. It's also it smells really good too. All right. I'm going to go back to A and back and onto the palate. Cloves and mint. I think I said there was mint in this one on the nose. I do get mint, some cloves. Maybe a touch of baking spice. That's about what I get on that glass right now. Glass B. This one's different. This one it's a little softer. I would say it's malty, and a little bit of caramel, a little bit of nutmeg, and a little bit of clove, but it does not have a lot of that normal rye notes, you know. It does almost taste kind of woody as well. Glass C. Oh, this is light. Maybe a touch of vanilla with the cloves, maybe honeysuckle. It's kind of creamy too. Not very viscous, but it's creamy. A little bit of baking spice at the end. Maybe a touch of caramel in there, but just a touch. All right, glass D. This one's very light. A little bit minty. Some cloves. Maybe a little bready. Huh. Yeah, this one's wonderful. Glass E. Yeah. Tastes like MGP is what it tastes like. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. I am picking up some mint in it, which I don't generally get from MGP. MGP's 95.5, that is. Usually MGP's 95.5 is cloves and lemongrass with, you know, sometimes you get a little hazelnut or a little nutmeg in it. I get the cloves and the lemongrass. I also get a little mintiness in this. Anyways, that one's really good. Now this one's a little different. I'm not sure what it is that's different about this one. It smells really good. It's creamy. Maybe some vanilla in it. Along with the cloves. Maybe a nutmeg. There's something else about it though. Maybe a maltiness to it. Can't put my finger on it. That one's a little bit different than the others. All right, now is the time that I have to figure out. Little cheese. Cleanse the palate. All right, now I gotta start eliminating them. This is where it gets hard. But I know that E and F are not gonna be one of the first two out. Those two are both really good. I'm really enjoying them. I'm going to have to go letter D out in 6th place. It's not really all that. It's a little light on the nose. It's also light on the palate. And it's got 2-3 notes, but I don't know. It doesn't stand up to the others. It's not. I guess the bottom line is it's a touch boring compared to the others. I'm just not. My palate's not saying, "Oh, I'm really into that one." It's good. Everything here is good. I have, obviously, this is my personal collection, and I know these bottles pretty well. I like them all. So I know that there's nothing here that's bad, but nothing I'm going to find repulsive or anything like that. But this Glass D, I think, just isn't quite living up to the others. All right. Where do I go from here? That one's good. Interesting, but I might like that one better. This one's got a little mintiness to it. I don't know. Do I say even maybe a little bit of a pine to it, that one? You know what's not doing as well? Is this one here. I think I might know which one this is. On its own, this one's great. When I go down the line, it doesn't hold up as well. Yeah, so that's really good on its own. This is really tough. Wow. It's getting tough. Okay, I'm going to go F out in 5th place. I was originally thinking I really liked it, but the more I get into it, there's just something about it that I don't like as much. There's something else there that I can't put my finger on. And I'm just not, it's just not driving as well. It was one of the stronger ones. I have a theory as to it. I might know which bottle that is. This is the problem with doing a blind as opposed to a double blind, is I know which bottles are in here, so I'm always thinking about, do I know which bottle that is? I think maybe I do know which bottle that is. And if that's true, then this is a disappointing finish for that bottle. And then I think I'm going to go with B out in fourth. And I think I know which bottle this is. And it's really good. It's really tasty. But it's just not, it's not standing up to the others. It's not jiving with the others. It doesn't taste as rye-like as the others, which is, I think, is part of the problem. All right, down to these three. All right, I think I gotta go third with A, second with C, and first with E. I think that's how I gotta go. Now, I will say that there's a number of bottles here that I think could switch places. There was no clear winner. There's sometimes when I do these, one glass just jumps out right away. It's like, oh, this is it. I will say that E kind of jumped out a little bit, and I did end up giving it the win. But it's not a clear winner. It's close. I had considered possibly giving A the win. I had considered possibly giving C the win. So I think these last three are all really quite tasty. But really, to tell you, these last five are all really quite tasty. The only one that was easy to put out was Glass D. Well, anyways, that's how I see it. I call them, as I see them. So let's find out what D was. Bottle 5. Unfortunately, this doesn't surprise me. This bottle, Redwood Empire Rocket Top. It's a 4-grain. It's got 5% wheat, 2% corn. And the malted barley is 7%. So, I don't know. I know that it's a little bit plain. I like it. As you can see, there's quite a bit gone. I've really enjoyed this bottle. That being said, I'm not surprised it ended up in last place because it is a little plain. I think that the wheat content in here, which usually softens a whiskey, it doesn't help it in a blind. So I don't think it helps to be soft in a blind. All right, so that was the first one out. And unfortunately, like I said, I think it was a pretty clear. The only one here that was clearly, I knew this one goes in this spot. It was this one. All right, so let's go with Glass F. So this one, there's just a little something else to this glass that held it back. Even though it does have a little bit of a stronger nose. And, okay, I told you I thought I might know what bottle this is. And I think maybe it's just in my head because this is not a double blind, but I think this is Sagamore. Because I think I get that artificial, plasticky kind of note in this glass. What am I doing? Oh, I am wrong. I see. This is why. This is the great thing about doing this. It's not a bad thing to do this and then turn out wrong because then it lets me know that brings me back down to earth here. Okay, I don't know everything, right? It surprises me that this one had one of the strongest notes, right? It had one of the strongest noses because this bottle is only 85 proof. This is Michter's. Michter's Rye. And there is a little something there. There's a little... But then I guess I kind of get a little something there on all the Michter's bottles, right? There's always that kind of a funk or something going on in a Michter's, right? Maybe that's what I'm getting. It is minty. Well, there you go. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put them in front of their bottles. All right. Now, in fourth place, this one I thought was Rossville Union, which would be a disappointing finish for this bottle, because I really like this bottle. And I am wrong. Wow, I am 0 for 2. Goes to figure, right? Goes to figure. All right, it is Sagamore. There's a number 3 on the bottom. And you know, I've been talking about how Sagamore gives me a little bit of that artificial flavor, or that artificial note, that I also get in Glens Creek products. I also get it a little bit in Cedar Ridge products. I don't really pick it up in this glass. And what I find interesting is I found this to be more similar, less similar to being a rye, more like a bourbon. If any of these were like, okay, what would be a bourbon drinker's rye? It was this one. Now, I know I already told you that this is a blend of MGP's 95.5 rye along with another MGP blend, or MGP mash bill. That is a rye mash bill. But anyways, it is, I didn't pick up a ton of rye notes on this bottle. I don't know. But I also didn't pick up that artificial note that I sometimes get. So, anyways, I'm 0 for 2. I only guessed at 2 of them, and I'm 0 for 2. Looking at the last 3, remember I was having a hard time deciding between these 3. Now, it does not surprise me that the Heaven's Door 10-year is still here, because this is fantastic. It also does not surprise me that the Rossville Union is still here, even though it's only a $40 bottle. But I know from the past that this blinds really well and that this is fantastic. Willet, I've never blinded before. I know it's minty. I know I like it. I didn't necessarily expect that it would win. I probably would have put it in the bottom 3 if I was guessing. I probably would have taken Sagamore and put it in this group and put the Willet in this group. So I find it interesting that Willet is up here in the top half. All right, well, let's see what we got. In third place, well, there's the Willet. And yes, it's minty. That's good. I considered putting this in first place. I considered putting the other 2 glasses, which would be these 2, also in first place. So, and I had to really kind of work on it to try to figure out how I was going to split this out. All right, in second place, Rossville Union. That is sugary, yet there's a good rye taste to it. Wow, that's a really good pour. But obviously we've got Heaven's Door here, bottle number 4. Heaven's Door 10-year. Yeah, I can't go wrong with that. In fact, I can't really say anything bad about both of these 2 going. So, there we go. We are saying that let me bring these back here, make them in focus a little better. Number 1 here, Heaven's Door 10-year. This really is a really good bottle. I think it was better than any of the others. It was the one that I was most wow about right away in the beginning. I'm not surprised, but I'm also really, I'm glad to see that Rossville Union ended up here. I really like it. So these two are going to move on to the finals, and the other 4 bottles here are out. So this is just the first of 4 blind tastings that I'm going to do with my rye whiskeys, and I'm probably going to do like 1 a week, and I'll also mix in some other videos along the way. So if you wouldn't mind, if you enjoyed this, if you learned something about these bottles, if you couldn't, like, comment, subscribe, that'd be awesome. So anyway, here we go. These are the 2 moving up. Peace out.